More dramatic and graphic testimony in week 6 of Sean Diddy Combs' sex trafficking and racketeering trial. This week included the jury watching video of the so-called freak-offs. We want to welcome back Neama Rahmani, a former federal prosecutor who's been following this case closely. So, Neama, great to see you again. What impact do you think those freak-off videos had on the jury?
Great to see you too. And obviously, the members of the media, we could not see those videos, but they seem to have an impact on the jurors. They were very, very attentive. And it's different when you have witnesses testifying compared to video because video doesn't lie. That's why that 2016 hotel attack, it's so important. And if the videos seem to be depicting a Cassie or a Jane or another of the victims in a situation where it seems like it's not consensual, that's absolutely something that may bring this case home for the prosecution.
Or vice versa, if it looks like you're seeing consenting adults, right?
No question. The defense's argument, the entire case, and even before trial, has been that this was all consensual, that, Cassie Ventura and Jane and Mia, they're all strong, independent women, and they knew exactly what they were getting themselves into when they got into a relationship with Combs. So, if the videos do show these women, planning and participating willingly in these freak-offs, then that's certainly something that the defense will hang its hat on during closing argument.
And the prosecution is getting ready to wrap up. Are they ending strong, in your opinion?
They are ending strong, but I'm not sure they got all the way there. I think definitely prostitution, that's in the bag. I think with racketeering too, we heard testimony today of more drug trafficking and drug use. There was testimony about arson and bribery and extortion. Sex trafficking can be a little bit more challenging for the reasons that we discussed. They have to prove that force. They have to prove that coercion. But Brendan Paul, who testified today, was the sixth former Combs executive assistant to testify against him. And they've all essentially told the same story. So really the question this case will come down to, when those jurors go back into that deliberation room, did these victims consent, or was this sexual activity forced upon them?
Let's look ahead to next week. Who do we expect the defense to put on the stand?
Well, we know Sean Diddy Combs is not going to testify. That's been reported. And the defense thinks they've poked enough holes in the prosecution's case that they've raised reasonable doubts. And just today, they said that they may only have 1 or 2 days of a defense case. So not only is Combs not going to testify, but we probably won't have someone like Christina Joram, his former chief of staff. It's going to be interesting to see who they put up there to rebut the government's case. But this is a case that's going to be based mostly on cross-examination. Very few defense witnesses, maybe only a day or two. The jury will probably get this case sometime late next week.
What does that tell you? What do you take away from that? The fact that the defense only has 1 or 2 witnesses?
Well, I think there's probably a lot of people that don't want to testify on behalf of Sean Combs. Certainly, he doesn't have a lot of friends here in Hollywood where I am because of these allegations. And he's really trying to walk a fine line. I mean, there's plenty of evidence of physical violence that's pretty abhorrent, right? And then all this other problematic conduct. The question is, can they really walk that line, thread that needle, and say, even though he was physically violent, the sex was all consensual. I think that's what they're trying to do here. Look, and they did score some points with some of the emails and text messages where the victims seemed to be planning these hotel nights or king nights or freak-offs, whatever they're called. So I think they think that they've raised enough doubt, and maybe they can pick off 1 or 2 jurors to potentially hang this panel.
How quickly do you expect this jury to come back with a verdict?
I think it'll take some days. If they get it next week, end of the day, I wouldn't be surprised if they deliberate to the following week. And this is why, when you're dealing with these types of allegations, sexual assault, jurors, they really have strong feelings about this that they bring into that deliberation room. Some people think that sex abuse and sexual assault victims, these crimes are underreported. Other people think that they're falsely reported. Throw in issues of the celebrity factor, and that's why you saw, the Harvey Weinstein case also there in New York. Those jurors deliberated for many, many days. It really got contentious there. There was reports of actually potential physical altercation, and ultimately they convicted on one, they acquitted on one, and they hung on a third. So it's not easy to make these types of decisions when you're a juror.
Neama Rahmani, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. Thanks for having me. Talk next week.